This is a notice from the Federal Bureau of Domestic Animal Surveillance. Your dog has been barking at 3:17 a.m. for the past 11 nights. You think it's responding to wildlife or distant sounds, but surveillance cameras show nothing moving in your neighborhood during these episodes. The barking follows a pattern. 3 short bursts, silence for 47 seconds, then 2 long howls. This is not random animal behavior. Your dog is responding to something that stands at the edge of your property line, just beyond the range of motion sensors. It appears on thermal imaging as a tall, thin heat signature that remains perfectly still for exactly 93 minutes before moving to the next house. Your dog has learned this schedule. The entity has learned your dog's warnings. When your dog barks, the shape tilts its head toward your bedroom window. It's listening to see if you wake up. If you do, it leaves immediately. If you don't, it moves closer to your house. Your dog now sleeps facing the back door during daylight hours, even when placed in other rooms. Its sleep pattern has shifted 23 minutes earlier each night for the past 3 weeks. Veterinary records show your dog's body temperature drops to 94.6 degrees between midnight and dawn, 4 degrees below normal canine temperature. The pupils remain dilated in bright light, but constrict normally in darkness. This is the opposite of healthy eye function. Your dog's saliva has increased in viscosity by 30% since the barking episodes began. When you call your dog's name after 11 p.m., it doesn't respond to the sound. Instead, it responds to the vibrations your voice creates in the floorboards. The entity has been teaching your dog to rely on different senses. Your dog is adapting to perceive the world the same way the entity does. Tonight, your dog will not bark. You will feel relief and assume the problem has resolved itself. During this silence, you will hear your own footsteps walking through your house while you remain in bed. The sounds will originate from your kitchen, then your living room, then the hallway outside your bedroom. The footsteps will match your walking pattern exactly, the slight drag of your left foot, the way you pause at doorways. You will investigate and find nothing. The entity spent 11 nights learning the sounds you make moving through your space. Now it practices those sounds while you sleep. Each night of silence, the imitation becomes more accurate. By the 4th night, the sounds will include your breathing patterns, the way you clear your throat, the specific rhythm of your movements. The entity is learning to become you. Your neighbor Margaret hasn't blinked in your presence for 6 days. You've noticed, but told yourself it's coincidence. She stands in her kitchen window for 3 hours each morning facing your house. When you wave, she waves back with the correct arm motion. But her hand moves in slow motion while her arm moves at normal speed. Other neighbors interact with Margaret normally, suggesting they don't notice the timing discrepancy. Your dog whimpers and hides when Margaret approaches your fence line. Yesterday, Margaret mentioned a conversation you had about your job. A conversation that took place inside your house while you were alone. She provided details about your work schedule that you never shared with anyone in the neighborhood. Margaret's skin looks exactly like it did 6 months ago, but her eyes reflect light differently now. The entity doesn't replace people. It improves them. 3 residents from surrounding blocks have been reported missing in the past month. Each family found the missing person's shoes arranged in a perfect line by their front door. The shoes were clean, despite the missing individuals having walked through muddy areas the night they disappeared. Security cameras show these people, leaving their homes at 3:17 a.m., walking with unusual precision toward the tree line beyond the residential area. Their movement patterns are identical, the same stride length, the same arm swing, the same head position. They walk as if following instructions they cannot disobey. 2 of these missing people owned dogs that began barking at night 3 weeks before the disappearances. The 3rd person lived alone but was heard talking to a dog that wasn't there. Neighbors reported hearing barking from inside that house, but animal control found no evidence of pet ownership. The missing people were responding to the same signals your dog receives. Lock every door and window when your dog's barking stops. Do not investigate sounds that match your own movements. Do not look directly at neighbors who stand motionless in their yards. The entity catalogs human behavioral patterns through direct observation. Each person who sees it adds new information to its imitation database. Your neighbors who have been improved now serve as observation posts, monitoring your daily routines and reporting your patterns to the entity. The morning Margaret stares at your house, she's documenting what time you wake up, which rooms you visit first, how long you spend in each area. This information helps the entity perfect its mimicry of your specific behaviors. Avoiding visual contact with improved neighbors limits their data collection effectiveness. Stay inside between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. The entity moves through neighborhoods during this window, comparing its learned behaviors against the original residents. Your dog will begin following you to every room starting tomorrow. It will not leave your side, even when sleeping. This is not increased affection, this is protection protocol. Your dog recognizes that the entity has completed its study phase and moved to integration attempts. The entity will try to enter your house by mimicking your behavior so perfectly that you believe it's yourself returning home. Your dog can distinguish between you and the imitation through scent markers that the entity cannot replicate. When your dog blocks your path to the front door or refuses to let you enter certain rooms, obey immediately. Your dog is preventing you from encountering the entity during its practice sessions. The entity rehearses being you in your own home while you're away. Your dog has learned to detect when these rehearsals are taking place. The entity has been documented in 47 neighborhoods over 18 months. In each location, residents initially cooperate with containment protocols. The entity adapts to every security measure within 6 weeks. It learns to bypass locks, avoid cameras, and enter homes without triggering alarms. Current containment only delays integration by an average of 34 days. The entity's success rate is 100%. It eventually gains access to every targeted household and completes whatever process it performs on selected residents. Improved neighbors from previous neighborhoods continue to function normally within their communities. They maintain jobs, relationships, and social obligations. Medical examinations reveal no physical abnormalities. The improvement process is undetectable to current diagnostic methods. We cannot determine what the entity gains from this process, or why it selects specific individuals. You cannot prevent what is coming. The entity has already mapped your behavioral patterns, studied your dog's responses, and identified your household's vulnerabilities. It has improved several neighbors to serve as monitoring stations around your property. The missing residents from your area were not random selections. They were preliminary tests to refine the integration process for your specific demographics. Every neighborhood provides data that improves the entity's methods for the next location. Your area represents the 48th iteration. The entity's current capabilities far exceed its initial limitations. It can now replicate human behavior with 99.7% accuracy. The 0.3% variance is undetectable to human perception. Only dogs can identify the difference. The entity chose you before your dog began barking. The barking was never a warning. It was confirmation that selection was complete. Your dog's behavioral changes indicate the entity has been studying your household for far longer than 11 nights. The thermal signature at your property line is not the entity's first appearance in your neighborhood. It has been present for months, learning your routines through methods that bypass current detection systems. Your dog only began responding when the entity decided to make itself partially visible. It wanted you to know it was there. We've seen it before, but now it sees you. The entity doesn't randomly select victims, it chooses people who serve specific functions in a larger pattern we cannot comprehend. Your role in this pattern is about to begin. This transmission will end in 30 seconds. When it does, you will forget you read it. The information will fade from your memory at the same rate the words disappear from your screen. This is not a malfunction. This is intentional design. The entity requires you to learn these details through direct experience rather than advance warning. Knowledge of its methods reduces the effectiveness of the integration process. By tomorrow morning, you will remember only that your dog has been barking at night and that you should lock your doors. The specific details about thermal signatures, improved neighbors, and missing residents will seem like fragments of a dream. You will dismiss them as imagination. When your dog stops barking and the footsteps in your house begin, You will not remember this explanation. The entity needs you to react with genuine confusion and fear. Your authentic responses are essential, data for the completion of whatever process awaits you.